It's time for the Stock Car Show on the Performance Motorsports Network. Powered by the staff at Race Chaser Online. Your motorsports, your way, every day. And now, here's your host, Tom Baker.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to a Stock Car Show that we promise you is going to be fun. So much going on here. As you can see, I am part of a triple here at the round table, formerly round table. Now it's just a table.
Yeah, it's not even a straight table. No. It's at an angle.
Well,
you're not good at geometry, sir. Just get on with the show.
Oh, I was never good at geometry. No, algebra, but not geometry. My name is Tom Baker, and as I said, I am not good at geometry. I am joined at the table by Jacob Seelman from Speed Sport News and Tyler Ankrum over there. Tyler is the 2018 NASCAR K&N Pro Series East champion.
Yeah. But wait, there's a race to go. Yeah, he just scored enough points to make that race not matter.
I was going to say, doesn't much matter. You can go to Dover now and just have a great time, right?
Actually, if he really wanted to, he could not even show up at Dover.
That is true too, but you know,
he kind of wants to win a race.
You got to win Dover. You got to finish out the year good. So
got to win Dover. That's exactly
100%.
right. Yep. And we'll talk with Tyler here in just a moment. Want to also give a shout to Randy Miller, who is in our tech shed on the Randy Cam. And we have Cisco Scaramouza via the Race Chaser Skype line.
I'm in the middle of the table, so I can't knock on Cisco's box like I normally do. But hi, Cisco.
Hello.
Anyway, so Tyler, you won the championship, but boy, it was a tough race for you. That was it was kind of a slobber knocker for you.
Yeah, we struggled all race. We qualified really well, but we just didn't have long run speed. It was a tough race, to say the least, and we knew that we had a good enough car where if we could just stay up front, we could probably stay there. But it's so hard to pass it loud. Like you get so aerotight, and with the PJ1 and it's really the PJ1 hurt it a little bit more because they didn't reapply it when we went there. They let it sit for those few months. So so it looked like there was grip up there, but there was no grip.
There was no grip.
So we predominantly ran the middle groove throughout the whole entire race. Made it super hard to pass, and not only that, you had 3 different series there: K&N Pro E Series, Penty Series, and Modifieds. 3 different rubbers. So it was really hard to set up the race car, and we just struggled, and we couldn't figure it out because our teammates were so good. So we just missed setup. And it was a rough weekend, just to say the least. But we just got to put it behind us. But yeah, it was just long race, and we had the strategy to pit at 40, take tires, and then just ride and save fuel. So we were riding. I think it was like 20th. Like that's how far back we were. But we were just riding, saving as much fuel as we can because the window is really small. It was like only about 83 laps, and saved plenty amount of fuel. And then with about 5 to go. My crew chief Seth Smith was like, all right, we need to go a little bit harder just to stay on the lead lap because the leaders were coming because we were riding about half a second off the pace, just saving fuel. And then I went, and for some reason the car just shut off getting in the corner. So we had a few different issues, and we determined it was a fuel pickup problem. Running half throttle down the straightaway, the motor just wasn't getting enough fuel. And my crew chief was like, just try going hard for a lap. And then I went hard down the straightaway, and then did it again, but bigger that time. And then so we almost had no choice to pull in the pits, and which was unfortunate because there went our whole strategy. But they just determined it was a fuel pickup issue, with motor just not getting enough fuel in the system, and that was causing the engine to almost not shut off but lose RPM and almost to an idling rate when I lifted. And it's unfortunate, but there was a caution with about 2 to go, which saved us, and a little bit more. I'm sure most of the racing community has already found out what happened, but we were actually running almost top 5 until the final lap, and then that happened. We finished like 13th or something like that, but we were able to clinch the championship. The guys were ecstatic about that. Seth Smith, he was super happy about that as well, and he's worked really hard these past few years to get a K&N championship, and we got 4 wins. We got Dover left. Maybe hopefully get 5. Get a pole, lead a few more laps, and just hopefully just try and put on a clinic.
All right, so for those who haven't paid attention to you and followed this arc through the year, you started the year not even close to full-time K&N shot at a championship mode. You ran the first couple races, all of a sudden, oh, hey, we're leading the points.
Yeah.
Maybe we ought to keep trying to do this thing. Oh, we're still leading the points. Maybe we really ought to think seriously about this.
Yeah.
Oh, we just won 3 in a row.
Yeah. All right. So
should we keep on going?
What was the point this year that you seriously saw? Okay, we're going to run this out to go for the championship. What was that moment?
I think it was after South Boston, which was about the 4th race after we won, and we had the dominating performance there. And then obviously passing for the lead with like 10 to go, and then spun out, passing for the lead. And, my dad is, or the Ankrams, if you don't know the Ankram family, you got to understand we're extremely competitive. So
No, really?
We know. They might not know,
yeah,
but we know.
So my dad was more pissed off than me, and we were sitting at home. We were eating dinner. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and he just slams his hand on the table, goes, "We're running the rest of the season." And I was like, "Okay." And
Are you sure, Dad?
Yeah, and not only that, it's hard, trying to tell a team owner like Dave Gilliland, it's like just one more week, because DGR right now has been hot across all levels.
Yeah,
ARCA,
they really
K&N,
have.
trucks. So everybody's wanting to get a piece of the pie, and they're all wanting to drive for DGR. So it was really hard for David, put these other people off, or we're still, on the fence. So it was after South Boston, really, when we said we're doing it. So it's been a fantastic year. Never imagined getting a pole 3 in a row, but it's been a ride.
What has this emotional journey been like? Because like you said when you were on with us at the very beginning of the year, we just want to go out and do the best we can and hopefully get a couple of good results. There was no championship in that conversation back then. I mean, how emotional has this been for you?
It's been wild. I mean, for not only for me but for everyone in my family. There's been so many sacrifices made to run this full season, and we're only in the K&N series, so
right.
To get this win for so many of my family members. Actually my grandpa came back to work for my dad to help me so he can come out here and support my racing, and he did that. And then we had friends and family that helped out as much as they could. And we actually in general gave up a lot this year. My mother, my sister, they gave up a lot too, so we could continue to do racing for me. So and I'm just glad it paid off, because when you have so much support around you and and it doesn't pay off, never, but if it doesn't pay off, it's super unfortunate. So
right.
Being in victory lane, or not in victory lane, but being in victory lane after Brendan McReynolds with the championship trophy was special.
Well, and for those who don't know Tyler's whole story, Tyler and his mom came over here when you were 14, I think?
I was racing a midget still, so 12.
Oh, 12. Okay.
Actually, yeah. Well, I was 12 turning 13 because in NASCAR, you got to be 13 to race late model. And actually, I started racing in late models with David, and Todd was racing late models too. I think he'd been in it for like a year longer than me or something like that. I don't remember. That was a long time. A long time ago. It was like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
But David helped me start getting late models, and he's believed in me since day one. So if anybody I gotta be super thankful for, as well is David too.
I was going to say that has to make it especially meaningful to give David the championship.
Yeah. Oh, really? Everybody at DGR, they work their guts out, and I know obviously everyone in racing does, but I think that's been one of the reasons why we've been so successful this year. Is every single time I've gone to the racetrack, I never had a doubt that we were going to be beat because someone outworked us or we weren't prepared enough. The reason why I felt like we have the 4 wins and the 3 in a row is because everybody did their part. Everyone gave 110%. And no matter when we went to the racetrack, we knew we were going to be fast. And obviously, that momentum, that confidence helps confidence helps.
Sure.
And it's been incredibly influential this year.
I've known Seth for a while now, and that boy works as hard as anybody I've ever known as far as, crew chief, crew members, and, Chris Lawson the same. I mean, David has assembled a first-class operation over there, and everything works, and that's it. That's just got to be, this has got to be huge for you. I mean, has it actually sunk in yet? Are you starting to finally?
No, actually, everybody keeps on asking me that. And for me, it's like, I feel super accomplished because it's been something I've been working for all year, and so many people gave up so many things for me. And not only that, I gave up a lot too. And to actually go out and do it. And at first it's kind of like, okay, now what? It's just like, like for example, at Loudon, when I won at my first Cup track at Loudon, I walk into media room and it was kind of like, okay, do I have to use this mic?
There's actually a recording on the NASCAR media site where they caught you asking, do I have to use this?
But it's just stuff like that because even after I was in the media room at Loudon and everybody's like, what do you think? I'm like, what do you mean what I think? I just I don't know. I don't know how do I react to this? So it's been huge. It's been an awesome experience, but I don't think it'll fully set in until after Dover because we still have that one race left. And it's not official, but it's official.
Yeah, you're still in race mode.
You cannot be caught.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. We're going to step aside. When we come back, more with Tyler Ankrum. We've got Kaz Gralla coming up later. We're going to hear from him and a whole lot of racing news and banter to talk about. Stay with us. You're listening to the Stock Car Show presented by our friends from HMS Motorsport, the leaders in motorsport safety. We'll be back right after this.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more, but the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
Hi, I'm Tyler Reddick, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Welcome back to the Stock Car Show, presented by HMS Motorsport, the leaders in motorsport safety, here on the Performance Motorsports Network, and we're also live on Race Chaser Media's Facebook page. My name is Tom Baker, and that is Jacob Seelman from Speed Sport. That over there is Tyler Ankrum. He is the 2018 K&M Pro East Series champion, by virtue of his finish the other day at New Hampshire. Now, Tyler, I can't even lead into this with a straight face. Tyler was telling us before the show that, in his family, and I started to mention in the last segment that Tyler and his mom moved over here when he was, 12, 13 years old. Yeah. And, the family kind of split up for purposes of Tyler being able to advance his racing career and, made the kind of a sacrifice that more and more families are making these days. But nonetheless, that was your family's a very, very close-knit family. Mm-hmm. But they're also very pragmatic and very practical. So Tyler has, obligations. We called them chores back in my day. So you win the race on Saturday and
win the championship.
Win the championship on Saturday. And I understand you had the occasion to go celebrate that for a little while, but then on Sunday, you did what?
I weed whacked for 4 to 5 hours. It was fun.
No Disney World for him.
No, not at all. Actually, it was awesome the night before because me, Seth Smith, his wife, Blank Baybridge, car chief, or crew chief is my Super Late model, his wife, Clay Rogers, his wife, my dad, and mom. They're like, let's all go to dinner. So I was like, yes.
Where'd you go?
Pomodoro's in Statesville.
Okay.
So we went there, and then afterwards, my dad's like, let's go to a bar. Let's celebrate a little bit more. So I'm like, yes. Because my dad, he likes to party. So I'm thinking, so I'm like looking at my watch. I'm like, all right, how long can I drag this out? So I know he's not going to wake up at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. So he gave me till about 10. He woke up at 7:30 anyways, but he gave me till 10. Oh. And he's sitting outside in the side-by-side. He's got the weed whacker. He's got the gas. He goes, get to it. I'm like, all right. And he goes off in his new skid steer with AC, AC, heating, air conditioning, and a radio. So,
and you were stuck with the weed whacker.
And I was stuck with the weed whacker.
Well, it's a fair cost for a championship, isn't it?
No. I wanted to go so bad. I wanted to just do nothing. Not only that, I had schoolwork on top of it. So my dad left for the airport. I was like, okay, great, he's gone. I can stop. But it's a lot of work. And not only that, we got cows. So we got to take care of cows now. So and they're all pregnant.
Oh, I didn't know you had cows.
Yeah. We about a month ago, my dad came home with cows. I was like, awesome.
Dairy farmer.
Another chore. Yeah, sweet. So. Actually, the cows are pretty fun. They're pretty fun. They're like dogs. So we train them
Can you train a cow?
You can. You'd be
roll
surprised.
Over, sit.
Well, not like that, but they're smart enough. Because I always thought cows were. How do you say this?
Dumb?
Yes. Yeah. I didn't want to
say dumb.
I didn't want to be the first one to say it, but I just thought they were dumb. And I just thought the only thing they understood was force because my grandpa had cattle growing up. He had a ranch, and we had horses, and I've always been around animals. But I just thought the only thing they understand was force. Well, now you just have a bucket of grain, and they follow you around like they're dogs. Honestly, I walk in the pasture, and they follow me, all 8 of them. They're like dogs.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they're actually comfortable enough with me now. You pet them. Before, they didn't want to be 10, 15 feet near you. Now that you're around them and feed them. Well, and I think the only reason why they like you is because you have the food.
Well, of course.
But,
yes, they're following the food, but that's okay.
Exactly, yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you can pretend like they're following you when in reality they're just following the food.
But, it's fun. But, honestly, my dad told me we bought a farm. I was like, I would much rather would have preferred the lake house, but, that's fun.
This coming from the kid that's nicknamed Hollywood.
At some point, if you get far enough up, you'll be able to get away cash.
All
Sure,
right.
yeah,
So
that's a great point.
I don't want to rush getting to the conversation of far enough up yet. I want to go back to your season, and good grief. I feel like you were learning every time you hit the racetrack, but what's the biggest thing you learned through this championship that wasn't supposed to be a championship that turned into a championship?
Biggest thing I learned? There was a lot. I don't know. I think one of the biggest things I could have learned this year was just to, like, intellectually be involved in everything. Like, know what's going on 100% of the time. Like, be there in the moment. Like, know what's happening on the racetrack. Know what's happening in the race shop. Know what's happening in the pits. And just gaining as much knowledge as possible. And just thinking, like, being on the ball, all the time. And I think that when we won those 3 in a row, obviously, we had the speed, and we had everything was going perfectly, because that was really when we reached our peak. I think if you looked at our season, it's going like this, and I think we've been on it all year. Pretty much all year we've been the ones to beat speed-wise, qualifying, and obviously we've had mishaps here and there, but just always thinking ahead, trying to just outsmart the next guy, and that's big too, because you can sit there and say, oh, the car is tight or it's loose, but if you're not thinking about the race, if you're not thinking about qualifying, what's that really doing? So it's things like that help you get ahead. It's preparing for the races, iRacing footage, talking with the guys in the shop. It's everything going into one.
How much did it help you this year? Obviously, DGR Crosley being an established group and having the other cars that they've had, throughout the year. It was 2 cars for most of the year, but there were times when you had 3 and 4 cars out on the racetrack. Your late model deal, for the most part, was just you and your family. How beneficial was it for you to have the extra notes and the extra people that DGR Crosley had this year to work off of and be able to get the extra insight from?
It's huge, because there's nothing like having external information, almost like I'm taking entrepreneur class right now. It's like SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunity and threats.
I was getting ready to say, if you didn't pull that out, I was going to say this is proof.
I had it in my brain, but I just had a moment. I was like, oh crap, what if this is wrong? But I learned it today, so we're fine.
Go with your gut. It's usually right.
So it's just all those things, and and we won in the ARCA race Toledo. And that was huge. First win this year in the Super Late Model, which is really a good time to win one, because my next race will be All-American 400.
That was the Glass City 200, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, it was a pretty big race. There was a huge turnout. The fans up north, I'm always amazed with them, because they're so kind, they're so gracious, and they're like race fans. Like,
oh yeah,
like they're crazy.
Rabid.
Yeah, they're huge.
Rabid.
Like being down here, I guess I'm used to it, because we have really big. We're in Race City in Mooresville, North Carolina.
Sure.
We're in Race City. You have huge fans out here, but being up there, it's a little bit different. But it was a packed house that night. So to win in front of a ton of fans and having a ton of attention, being the K&N points leader, not the champion yet, but the K&N Pro E Series leader at the time in points, and it was huge having attention like that. Because for me, I'm K&N, which is not big time, but it's Spotlight Series.
Closer to big time.
Closer to big time. But I'm still like grassroots super late model racing, so I don't understand yet the 100% the attention I have been getting. So when I introduce myself, oh hi, I'm Tyler Ingram, and they're like, yeah, we know. Like I'm kind of like, oh, and I'm like, okay, like I'm like, yeah, and he's like, so how's your year been going? I was like, yeah, we've been doing really good in the K&N Series. He's like, yeah, 4 wins, and you're leading by 51 points. I'm like, how do you know all this?
People pay attention.
Yeah, and as a kid, in the super late models, for the past 2 years, never really did much, and never really got the attention. We always felt that we deserved based off how much we worked, and actually now getting it, it's pretty special.
Is it fair to say that you weren't necessarily prepared for the amount of attention that's come with the K&N Series this year and the championship?
Yeah, we after the championship, we we charter a plane with MDM, which is huge because leave the racetrack, go on the plane, and you're home by that night. It was like 7 o'clock, so it was awesome. But hour-and-a-half flight, I'm responding to text, thank you, blah, 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 blah. I turn off airplane mode. Blah, blah, blah. It buzzed for a minute straight. That is no lie. It buzzed for a minute straight. And I was like, oh, my Lord. I'm scrolling through all the texts and the tweets. I'm like, Mom, can you please? She's like, no, you're the champion. Take care of it.
Do your own.
30 minutes of responding to the texts and tweets. I was like, like, was not prepared at all. So,
isn't it humbling, though?
Yeah. But it's still an awesome experience. Obviously, it's not official yet because we still have Dover. But unofficially, we have the championship. And
I was going to say, you got to take a picture with the trophy. That's about as official as it gets.
And, actually, it's awesome, heading into Dover because, Dover's the one place where you got to have the biggest cojones. So we can just go out there, have a blast, just lay it all out on the line. We won the championship, so nothing go wrong. So I'm super excited to head there. It's the Monster Mile, so it's going to be pretty crazy.
Okay, so before we go to break, everybody that's watching us on Facebook, go ahead. Tyler's going to grab the marker there.
Yeah.
We're going to have him sign the Wall of Fame here behind us. And he's going to be the first official driver on the gray there, Tyler. Yeah. So you can see, and his name will be etched in our studio here on the Wall of Fame. Well, hopefully for a long time anyway.
Yes.
We don't know about forever. That's a long time, but there it is. Good job, Tyler. And we're gonna keep him around if we can for one more segment. He's got a mountain of homework, but we're gonna see if we can get him to hang around for one more segment here. We're gonna take a break. When we come back,
no idea.
more with Tyler Ankrum, and then we've got plenty more to come. Kaz Gralla after a while as well. You're listening to the Stock Car Show here on the Performance Motorsports Network and Race Chaser Media Facebook Live. Be right back.
Do you love the sound of high revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves the majority of Monster Energy NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, Camping World Truck, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schuberth helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on only one thing, making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the HMS staff is always ready to take the time to help you find the right product for your safety needs. Don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Stop in to HMS Motorsport. Visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com or send them a message on Facebook and tell them the folks from PMN Radio sent you.
What an awesome game. What's up with your car? I don't know. It won't start. How are we getting home? Chill. My parents signed me up for the roadside assistance from Lewis Meineke. It was free with my oil change. They'd come and get the car started or get us home and tow the car to the shop.
Good to know. With my driving, my parents never know what to expect.
When you join the Meineke Car Care Club with a $35 preferred service, you get 4 free months of roadside assistance, including tire change, battery jump, lockout service, towing, and more. Contact Lewis Meineke, located on Route 1, or call 827-2054.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, is a lung disease that robs people of their ability to breathe. As many as 24 million Americans suffer from COPD, also known as chronic bronchitis or emphysema, and half of them don't know they have the disease. If you or someone you love is over 35 and has smoked more than 100 cigarettes in their lifetime, visit driveforcopd.org and take the screener, then take that to your doctor. I'm Jeff Stoltz, and I drive for COPD.
Hi, I'm Spencer Davis, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to the Stock Car Show here on the Performance Motorsports Network. We're also on Race Chaser Media, Facebook Live here. Tom Baker, Jacob Seelman, Tyler Ankrum, and we have...
we should have bought a confetti cannon tonight.
A good time to think about that now, Jacob.
Yeah.
And Randy Miller is over there in the tech shed pushing all the right
about
buttons.
that when you were going down the line. I'm like, we should have had confetti or something.
We got well. Then we'll do that sometime, and I'll assign you to clean it up.
Yes.
And
hey, I'm okay with that.
Cisco Scaramouza's on the Race Chaser Media Skype line too.
Has Cisco even said hi yet tonight?
No, he's been quiet.
I guess he did say hi.
I said hi
barely.
Earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just been.
Cisco hasn't gotten to the news yet, so.
Yeah, we've been talking to Tyler Ankrum.
You guys been going back and forth. Didn't want to, interrupt.
Me and Cisco one time, we had a nice banter one show. We debated a little bit what was happening. I think it was the last time.
I do remember that.
Yeah. I wouldn't say got heated, but we debated for what, a good segment or something like that.
Probably close to
it.
I
don't even remember it.
Yeah, it was a while. Yeah.
The shtick now is I'll see Tyler show up at a car show, sup, and then just keep doing whatever's going on.
Well, I think weren't you at a
OCS?
Yeah, Orange County. Yeah, I saw you there.
By the way, for our viewing audience at home, let's also be clear that we told Tyler, we made him promise that if he won the championship, he would come in the El Camino. The El Camino is sitting in the parking lot tonight.
Oh, man. Yeah. I want to go check it out before I leave.
I double parked so no one would bing it, so.
The first thing I did when I got here, I fussed at him for double parking.
Yeah.
Just because he's a champion doesn't mean he can't follow
Can't trust us. I heard you traded the truck, though.
We did sell it, We sold it for a dump trailer. So.
He had such a nice, what year was it, 71?
66.
Was it that old, 66?
Yeah.
66 pickup, and I love that truck. That was a cool truck.
First gear was a granny gear, 4-speed on the floor. It was it's a nice truck. We were selling it just to farm equipment, more chores. So
more chores for the champ.
Yeah.
Yes. By the way, let's be clear. Some sort of chores shtick has to make it into your speech. There's something that I'm sure you haven't even, if you've had a chance to think about it, it hasn't been much. The speech at the banquet in December.
Yeah, we every single year, it's actually when I ran quarter midgets, and then I think last year was the first year I didn't go to some sort of banquet ever since I've started racing, with the USAC and midgets and whatnot. So my mom and I, we always sit down. I know you got to make like a 10-minute speech. That's all I know right about now. So we always love typing one out. So we're gonna have to do it. And we always. I think my last year quarter midgets, we gave the honor of Lucky Charms to the reason why we were so successful that year. Because I love Lucky Charms, still do actually.
There you go.
So I think we're gonna have to give the reason why I won the K&N Pro E Series champions because of all the chores. Keeps me humble. Keeps me. Gives
grounded.
Me
keeps you grounded.
Keeps me grounded.
No pun intended.
That's right.
My dad every single day calls me, just randomly. Just remember, if you don't want to weed whack or get a job, become a good really race car driver. So
I'd say you're working on becoming a good race car driver.
I'm trying to.
So now we know what your favorite cereal is.
Yeah, Lucky Charms. Yeah.
I'm personally a Cheerios fan myself.
Oh, they're too.
Cheerios
and
Fruit Loops.
Ooh, Fruit Loops aren't bad.
Fruit Loops are good.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite cereal, Jacob?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm actually with him on the Lucky Charms bandwagon. See?
Cisco, favorite cereal for you?
Come on.
Randomly Life. I don't know why, but yeah.
All right,
See,
goodbye.
those my age will remember why
Wow.
Life.
Good job.
Life
Tyler.
had one of the funniest commercials when I was little. And a little guy named Mikey, and the whole thing was that the other two kids poured it, and no, I'm not going to try it. You try it. Oh, I'm not going to try it. We'll give it to Mikey. He won't eat it. He hates everything. And all of a sudden you see Mikey taking scoops of it. He likes it. Hey, Mikey. Life Cereal had one of the funniest commercials when we were little. That was back in the 70s, before commercials got hard to understand. Randy, you want to weigh in on this? Do you have a favorite cereal? Your mic is not on, sir. We need to hear your mic.
We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you.
Unmute your mic.
As I was saying.
There you go.
Cinnamon Frosted Flakes.
That's not bad.
Okay.
They are the most delicious cereal.
That is
right
not
now.
bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this show is not sponsored by Life, but
No,
I'm
it is
acting
not.
like it is.
No,
There it is,
That's
right
funny.
there.
That's pretty good.
Bravo, Cisco. Bravo.
Okay.
Good job.
So, Tyler, you get to go into Dover now virtually pressure-free. I
Okay.
mean, you've locked up the championship. What are your thoughts going into that race? I mean, what do you think of Dover? What are you anticipating there?
Well, I asked my crew chief today. I stopped by the shop. So I was like, so what about Dover? He goes, you ever held it wide open around the racetrack? I was like, nope. He goes, get ready to. So actually, I haven't gone on iRacing yet. I plan on to. Yeah, I know, right? I'm planning on it.
Too busy doing homework and chores.
Homework and chores. Please, parents, don't let your children do too many chores. But I plan on doing iRacing tonight or tomorrow night.
I hope Michelle's watching this.
Yes, I do too. So tonight or tomorrow night, and obviously the rest of the week, I'm going to be focusing on iRacing because how awesome would that be? Win the last race of the year.
Yeah.
And then you finally get to fully celebrate the championship. That'd be awesome. So to do that, but we're just going to have fun. That's what the last race of the year is about because for so long we're points. We've been chasing points and just trying to just further myself in racing. Obviously, you got to go there taking it seriously at the same time, but you can have fun with it when you just feel like you're grinding it out at Orange County Speedway at the super late model. So just on a bigger stage because Cup will be there that weekend, but still at the same time.
He's got a bar to shoot for. Harrison Burton won the last race of the year to win the championship in 2017. I know
That's
Tyler's
true.
already got it locked up, but in fact, I'm going to do some investigating here for a second. But there's been several of them that have won Dover and won the championship in the same year.
I saw a stat that Harrison in his last year, 5 wins, 1 pole, same amount of top 5s and top 10s that I have, except for the only difference is he had 5 wins, I have 4.
So now you have to get 5 wins.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
And it'd be and the only difference was his laps led. I think he had a lot more laps led.
Probably, yeah. But again, I mean, last year was pretty much the Harrison and Todd show.
Yeah.
For the most part, there were other. I say this word respectfully, interlopers who kind of, popped in and out and won occasionally or led. But for the most part, it was Harrison and Todd all the way to the end. And Todd's flat tire obviously took him out at Dover. But, you go in without that pressure that either of those two had. So you can fully concentrate on really learning the track without having to, you're not points racing.
No.
You're just going in to win.
I can just go to, exactly. And that'll be huge. And, we were even talking about the guys today. It's like, let's just go in there trying to win, just worry-free. And obviously we've been so fast all year, we don't have to worry about winning because we know it can come natural. Respectfully saying that, we know we can win and we can do it to not an easy ability, but we know confidently no matter what we have a shot. So
Cisco has stats.
I was just going to say, to Jacob's point, he was asking about drivers who have won the last race to go on to win the championship. In the East Series in particular, Harrison's been the last person to do that since Dylan Kwasniewski back in 2013. I think Kwasniewski technically had the championship anyway.
He did.
When they went to Road Atlanta.
He did,
Road America.
No, it was Road Atlanta.
No, it was Road Atlanta.
Yes, I was going to say I know that's way too far to the west for the K&N Series.
Wow.
Now I will say this: I was a little bit off base on my Dover comment a minute ago. Other than Harrison Burton, the last driver to win at Dover and then go on to win the championship before Harrison did it last year was actually 2005 when Andy Santerre won either his 3rd or 4th championship in the sequence, 4th championship in the sequence, and So
That was-
it
was
had
that-
been a
wasn't
little
it
bit.
still Bush North?
It was still Bush North
Yeah.
then, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Very interesting. Well, you definitely. I love the comment Seth made about holding it wide open.
Yeah.
It makes me think about a
So
story
true.
that you told me a couple years back. The first time that you went to, I think it was O'Reilly Raceway Park then, maybe, or it's Indianapolis Raceway Park, anyways. Whatever it was at that time.
Yeah.
They've changed track sponsors a couple times, but the first time you went there to test with a late model, I said, so how did it go? And you said that was the fastest track and you were talking about how your knees were shaking going down the straight. People don't realize, I think a lot of our audience, that when you're on a track like that with a late model, or Dover even with a K&N car, there's more track than there is horsepower.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's still enough that, I mean, holding it wide open is a mental thing for a racer. You got to get used to that. So I'm sure that's, but again, the pressure becomes off now. You can just get used to that at your leisure because you're not racing for points.
Yeah, well, I've already tried it once this year at Iowa. It didn't go well. But, honestly,
Hence the hat.
Yeah, hence the hat. But honestly, I tried it first lap. Last lap, 1 and 2, kind of just burped it because the car had a ton of grip. And everybody said they were watching me on top of the trailer waiting for me to lift. I never lifted. And honestly, dude,
dang boy, ain't you gonna lift?
And honestly, I made it through the corner, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this." And at Iowa, if you watched Iowa before, you know there's bumps really low. And actually, a lot of the Indy cars have the same issue with the bumps low off of 4. Well, I was so low, I was going so fast, I was like, oh, no way. I'm like, this is so, this is awesome. And then I hit the bumps, I was like, oh, no. And then, I John Forced it, trying to keep it out of the wall. And,
Nice.
Big smoke, a lot of tire smoke. Actually, spun the tires so hard, trying to keep it out of the wall. Successfully did it. Kept that out of the wall. So in tires, we have the tread holes. Well, they were gone, all of them. They were completely gone. So we had to take an unapproved adjustment, put new tires on before the start of the race, and I think by lap 11 I was second.
Wow.
And then later you won the race.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
On that note, okay, we've still got a few minutes left, but I want to make sure we get this in because we all like to talk a lot. You've got obviously a lot of people that have helped you get to this point, Tyler, and this obviously the biggest accomplishment of your career up to now, winning the K&N Pro Series East Championship. Who helps you make this happen? Who has helped you make it happen? You can spend as much of the 5 minutes as you want.
Obviously, I mentioned it before. My grandfather come back to work for my dad to help, so he could come help me race or come watch me race and support me. And David Gillen, DJR Crosley, Seth Smith, Sam, Jeremy, Blake Bainbridge, Clay Rogers, my mother Michelle, my sister Lauren, all of them. They've all done something for me. Not even family, friends. I have best friends in California that support me whenever I need it, and they're always rooting for me, and they're diehard NASCAR fans, so that helps too. So friends, family, just coworkers, school, teachers, they all help me get here. So all of them, super thankful.
Even the teacher that gave you the 100 question.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
The 100 questions that you have to go on.
He was going to do the full show, but he got a huge history assignment at the last minute in class today. So now he's got to leave early. Tyler, we appreciate you coming in and spending some time with us. We just have a blast with you.
You realize you just gave him a video to show his history teacher tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
That was kind of the point,
he's not
right?
a race fan. Hopefully he is not a race fan. What? Well, I figured there's going to be something to do today at the beginning of the class because I was gone Thursday, Friday. Well, there was nothing. But he goes, oh, hey, there's 100. So I wanted to spur. Hey, I was gone Thursday, Friday. I wanted, because normally that works. It's like they'll give you like a week to make it up, a week or two. It's like, hey, I was gone Thursday, Friday. So, and then he's like, oh, and it's due tomorrow. I was like, oh, my gosh, no. Like, please, no. And I couldn't pitch the Thursday, Friday. I was gone racing. So Yeah, I got a lot of work when I get home.
Hashtag keeping the champion humble.
Exactly.
Yes.
Tyler Ankrum, thanks again. We appreciate it. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, much more here on the Stock Car Show.
Yeah.
We're going to hear from Kaz Gralla. We got a lot to talk about before we're done. Stick around, a new partner to tell you about, too, here as we go through the show. We'll be back with more of the Stock Car Show presented by HMS Motorsport, the leaders in motorsport safety right here on the Performance Motorsports Network and Race Chaser Media, Facebook Live.
Everywhere you go, you hear it, and you see it. It's coming at you through your phone, your tablet, and your computer. It's broadcast from your favorite radio station, TV networks, and cable companies. It's in the stadiums, the arenas, the ballparks. It screams for your attention at the mall. It's interactive on Main Street. It's even coming at you from the gas pump at the nearby convenience store. What is it? It's digital content. It's digital content. It's digital content. Somebody has to create it. Somebody has to manage it. So whether your dream is to write it, design it, create it, call it, produce it, voice it, host it, light it, shoot it, switch it, record it, color correct it, edit it, code it, repurpose it, tweet it, blog it, post it, compress it, upload it, replay it, or make sure it gets to where it's got to go when it's got to get there in the format it's got to be in, you need to attend Carolina School of Broadcasting. The skills you will learn, the experience you will get, and the connections you will make at Carolina School of Broadcasting will open the doors to the career you want in digital content creation and digital content management. Call or come by today. Click csbradiotv.edu.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speeds, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ben Rhodes, and you're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
Put the head. You're yeah.
Welcome back to the Stock Car Show here on the Performance Motorsports Network. You might want to try that all over again. Welcome back to the Stock Car Show here on the Performance Motorsports Network, and we of course are on the Race Chaser Media Facebook Live too, and we've got Kaz Gralla still coming up, and I want to tell you probably in our next segment about a new sponsor, new partner that is going to be joining us here for our shows. But first of all, as we sort of move forward from Tyler Ankrum, and how are we supposed to follow that? I don't know, but that was kind of fun. He has come so far in the media and the communications and all of that. What a bright future that young man has. Okay, so let's move forward and actually talk a little bit about the other races that took place. Before we get to the big stuff, we'll talk about the other races that took place at New Hampshire over the weekend. And there were two others. The Pinty Series, I believe the first time ever running in
America.
US of A.
Yes.
Yeah. Ran at New Hampshire, and then also the modified tour, of course. So we'll start with, I guess, the Pinty Series race. Not an awful lot of action.
Okay, so
in that one, but
please hold. Matt Weaver Matt Weaver, attention. I'm stealing your thought here. Just saying. Thank you, Matt, by the way. Here's the deal. That Pinty's race is everything that terrifies me about the package that
I
the
saw
Cup
that post.
Series is looking at using next year, because if you don't get it on the right track, there's not enough power and nobody can get the drive off the corner to be able to get a run on somebody. I love the thought of the Pinty Series coming to the U.S. for a race or two every year, but I don't feel like those cars are equipped properly to be able to put on a good race at Loudon. It was tough for me, and it's no disrespect to those Pinty's guys, because those are some of the most hard-nosed racers that I know.
And they're fun.
And they are very fun.
They're great guys.
The track just did not do them any favors from a show standpoint.
No, they kind of just spread out and ran around. Kevin Lacroix ended up picking up the win.
It's that French-Canadian thing.
Well, yeah, and well-deserved. I mean, it was
Kevin's a great driver.
He earned it, but, as you said, a little too much racetrack for the horsepower on those cars. And I think that hurt him a little bit. I would be curious to see them at a place like Richmond.
Oh, yeah. Richmond
it's
would be fun.
It's 3/4 of a mile.
It's more banking.
I think in that type of a situation, they probably would be better. But that was the opening race, and we were very excited to see them come over, and I hope they do it again.
Yes, definitely.
Just tough for them to really put on a great show. And, of course, then we had the K&N Pro Series East race.
Yeah. And I know we talked to the champ, but how can you not love Brandon McReynolds winning a race for Visconti Motorsports? That team is based out of New England. Brandon, my gosh, has just wanted an opportunity. This seemed perfect to me. It really, really, really did.
Well, it's, the thing with Brandon is it was back and forth. At first, I thought this was going to be a Derek Kraus runaway.
Ha!
Derek started out and just took off, doing a great job in another DGR Crosley entry.
Yes.
In collaboration with Bill McAnally, his team
owner.
boss from the West Series. But Brandon just wouldn't go away.
No, and let's be fair to Derek here. It wasn't that Brandon just drove around him. Derek got helped out of the way a little bit there late in the race.
Well, but again, Brandon was there. It wasn't as though something happened to Derek and Brandon got lucky. Brandon was there, and then he lost the lead again. And then on the final restart, he got pushed, and it allowed Brandon to be able to Brandon took off. I mean, he had a couple of great restarts that really helped his cause during that race.
Yeah.
And that's what got him the win. I was happy for him, and I thought Derek did a great job.
Yeah, he did. He really did.
I thought the East cars put on a really good race.
They usually do at Loudon, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't usually leave an East race disappointed with the show that they put on those tracks, because the drivers have learned how to race it and really done a nice job with it. It's cool to see a veteran like Brandon come away with the win, but of course that wasn't the main spectacle for the day. And let me tell you what, the feature race was a spectacle for a lot of reasons. This, of course, being the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour Musket 250. And if you didn't see anything of the entire race other than the last two corners and the run to the finish line, you saw all you needed to see.
Well, and I thought it was great that this race came down to that finish. I'm gonna be the bad guy here for just a little bit. I think the race was too long. I felt like it just got kind of monotonous.
Am I the only one that got lost with how many pit cycles?
Yeah, I think that was the problem. Well, the other.
It was tough for me to follow it because every time somebody'd get the lead, it's like you couldn't keep track of who was in good position because everybody kept pitting.
Yeah, and the other piece to that is even the announcers were struggling, and they struggled with some of the names, and it's like, guys, I don't want to be a jerk here, but if you're going to announce on Fans Choice TV, learn how to pronounce the names. Chase's last name in the E Series is Cabri, not Cabri or Cabre or Cabre. There were just a few of those things, but it was a struggle to kind of keep track of what was going on, Cisco. I just thought that race would be better served at about 200 laps rather than trying to make it 250 just for the sake of making it the longest race. I know it came down to a brilliant finish, I think, and I'm glad it did. But Cisco, I just think 150 to 200 laps on that track is plenty long enough.
You call it.
Yeah, I agree with that, Tom. And to the point with the broadcast, I mean, this was something I did worry about a little bit, considering that this was going to be a free-to-air broadcast. So I'm not sure, obviously, how all that pay structure works and everything, but there's a reason, like with Cars Tour, for example, where we do a subscription-based thing because that's what we do. And, we're contracted for the whole season. So I was a little bit worried about that. And I think it kind of showed with the broadcast. Yes, it was great for the exposure. It was great to get the word out. But it's not going to be as good as getting a contracted group to go out there and actually produce it.
Well, all right, y'all are going to fuss about the broadcast. I want to fuss about the last lap.
Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. And this is where I'm going to be the bad guy here. Dear Justin Bonsignor, you got what you deserved. You block once, Priest goes lower. You block again, you're asking to get wrecked. And, oh, look, he actually got wrecked. I was impressed that Priest didn't lift. I was equally as impressed that when both of them wrecked, by the way, Tom, here's Chase Dowling, who's laying back in third, I assume anticipating that something crazy was going to happen. And he comes through the smoke to win the race. No bigger way to get your first Tour win ever than to win the richest, longest race in Tour history. But, oh, man, I kind of shook my head because I knew if it came down to two guys in the draft at the end, if somebody blocked, it was going to be bad. And it was.
Well, I'm going to offer my 2 cents on that after the break. You're listening to the Stock Car Show, presented by HMS Motorsport, the leaders in motorsport safety, right after this.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Every 30 minutes, another innocent person is killed due to a drunk driver.
My best friend. My brother. My poor grandchild.
My sister.
My father. My husband. My mom. My mommy.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you.
Stop these tragedies before they happen. Don't drink and drive.
The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hi, I'm Reed Sorensen. Racing has been a part of me and my family for as long as I can remember. I had to make tough choices early on to get to the top. It took hard work and dedication. But it's those tough choices that help me prepare for challenges I would face as a cup driver. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Hi, I'm Timmy Salamito, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network. Now back to the show.
Hi, I'm. Okay, welcome back to the Stock Car Show presented by HMS Motorsport, the leaders in motorsports safety. You can find them on the web at hmsmotorsport.com. No S, Motorsport, hmsmotorsport.com. And
I thought you were getting ready to do the Jeff Dunham thing when you did the
we have
.com.
we have a new that would have been a good idea.
It would have been.
Thought of it. We have a new partner helping us out with things around these parts here. We want to tell you about them. Telmed Benefits joining the Race Chaser family of supporters, and here's the deal. I want you guys to think about something. It's 5 o'clock on a Friday night, and you're at the racetrack, and suddenly you realize you're not feeling well. Okay, you think about, well, I need to go to the emergency room, or maybe it's your young child who's not feeling well. And instead of going to the emergency room, imagine if you could just get online and visit a doctor online without ever leaving your location. That's what Telmed Benefits allows you to do. I had a personal experience with that when I had the flu later in the year last year. I was able to just dial up online and talk to a doctor online about what my symptoms were and what I was feeling, and even had the opportunity to, he even made sure that he called a prescription in to my local pharmacy so I could go pick it up. So here's the deal with this. Healthcare ought to be simple, fast, and uncomplicated. Well, Telmed Benefits makes it easy to visit a doctor online in minutes without ever leaving your home, your job, or wherever you are. Telmed is all about helping people save money and receive great value at the same time, and you can get a prescription called into your local pharmacy if you need it. Just visit Telmed, M-E-D, telmedbenefits.com. For more information, $19.95 a month covers up to 5 people in your household. So this is as inexpensive as you can possibly get this kind of a service, and these are all licensed physicians. It is associated with major healthcare companies, so it is not insurance, but it works with your insurance, and it certainly is a great option as opposed to having to wait in line at the emergency room or go to some sort of primary care. $19.95 a month covers up to 5 people. You can visit the website at telmedbenefits.com and get your free pharmacy discount card as well. So we hope that you'll all check that out, because that's their new partner, and it's a great service. Like I said, I've used it myself, and it saved me a ton of time and effort with that. We get back to our racing conversation here, and you were talking about the last crash in the modified tour race.
I was.
You were talking about Justin Bonsignor throwing that double block and Ryan Preece not lifting.
I was.
Well, as you can imagine, I have a slightly different perspective on this. I'm not blaming Ryan Preece per se, but I am saying that
I didn't say I was. When did I say I was blaming Ryan Preece?
You didn't. I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm not blaming Ryan Preece per se, but I am asking the simple question. If you have two choices, wreck your race car or finish the race, and you choose to wreck your race car because you don't want to lift to make a point, to me, that's really not a great choice. I know Bonsignor came down, but Preece was almost off the track, and there's a point where I think you have to look at that and say, okay, he's got me this time, and you try to get a clean run between there and the finish line or whatever. Instead of just trashing a race car for no reason. I thought that was kind of silly on Ryan's
Especially
part.
when it's not Ryan's race car.
Well, it's not his car. And, again, Justin's racing for a championship here. Preece is not. I know it's loud and I know it's a big deal, but I think you just got to use common sense and good judgment sometimes, and sometimes second is better than crashing. In fact, all the time second is better than crashing. But I here's the deal. Whichever one of us Chase Dowling may feel has the correct version of events, his drinking phrase at that moment, if he were old enough to drink, was "pass you very much."
I think he is.
I don't think he's 21, is he?
not?
No, I don't think he is. But if he is, he may be just 21. But anyway, Chase going on to get the win, and I was happy for Chase in that one, to be honest, because I really felt like it really was a big stage for him. And he talked before the race about the fact that you can't approach this with any kind of strategy other than because of the lap money. He started up front. You want to lead as much as you can and run up front. Well, you know, I don't know that he did as much of that as he wanted to, but he certainly made sure he was there at the end. And that team has been knocking on the door all year.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the way I look at this. Whatever's left of the modified tour for this year, watch out for Chase Dowling.
Yes.
Because they gave him a little bit of confidence now. He got his win.
Uh-huh.
Not necessarily swagger, just confidence. This is going to be still a two-car race, I think, between Bonsignor and...
Okay, here's the deal. With the way the points are now, with only 2 races to go, Justin has a 71-point lead. He just has to leave the next race with a 48-point lead to lock up the championship.
I wasn't thinking about the championship. I was just talking about winning races.
Yeah, okay.
You because all year long this has been, most of the year anyway, this has been the Justin Bonsignor show.
Yeah.
Now suddenly... After that win, I think it becomes the Chase Dowling show. I think Chase goes out, and I think, again, that little extra bit of confidence here. And I think now Justin Bonsignor is going to have to take it back away from him.
I agree. A couple of things here. Number one, first win for Chase Dowling in 55 tour starts. Second, Tom was correct ever so slightly. Chase Dowling does not turn 21 until January 15th of 2019. So he's close. He's close.
Yeah.
Not quite there yet. So you're right. Drinking phrase will have to wait a couple more months. Third thing here, stop and look at the confidence that he's gained just by what he's done this season. He's second in points. He's got the best average start and average finishing position he's ever had in his career. He's led more laps this season than he led in all of his starts in the tour combined coming into this year. I mean, this is absolutely the breakout to end all breakout years for Chase Dowling. And quite frankly, it's well-deserved, and I honestly think couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Chase has paid his dues. He's one of the next generation.
Absolutely.
And I feel like he absolutely has a place on the tour for a very long time to come. No disrespect to Justin and the job he's done this year. I mean, Justin's not that old. He's only, 30. So that's progress, and we know Justin's going to be there for a while to come too. But Chase is really one of the guys who's been hungry. You're right. Now that he's got it, look out at the fall final and at the Thompson World Series here in a couple weeks. Good grief. Stop and think about that. The fall final is this weekend at Stafford Motor Speedway. My gosh, where did the season go?
Well, where did the whole year go is really more like it. We're going into final quarter of
Don't
the
remind
year,
me.
and it's definitely.
I woke up this morning and realized, the Rovals this weekend.
Yeah.
I think a lot of drivers did that with me.
Well, and that's they woke up in sheer panic is more like
we'll
what
get to that
there.
in a few minutes.
Yeah, but a big win for Chase Dowling, and certainly outstanding show for the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. I think a successful weekend.
Now, I want to ask you this before we get off the Loudon subject, Tom. Are you a fan of the short track weekend bill that they did, and would you like, if they can make it feasible, would you like to see it come back again next year?
Yeah. In fact, I really wish they would open it up. I would love to see I mean, I don't know what else you'd feasibly run there, being a mile track, but if there were a way to get another division in even.
Well, I mean, heck, they did that New England Short Track Showdown deal where they had like super late models and street stocks and some series that I would have never anticipated being there. So
like a pass,
Yeah,
kind of
why
thing.
not?
Yeah.
We've seen that super late models can race there because the Granite State Series did it. Why not do a past North race?
But no, I'm definitely in favor of it. My own personal feeling, I would just like to see the modified race shortened back to about 200 laps. I think that would make it a better race. But
and you were all worried about the break there at lap 100, and they did about 8 live pit stops during the race still. So I really feel like that that one break really didn't affect the overall strategy.
And the thing
race,
is,
to
if
be
they
honest.
go back to 200, I'm not sure they need the break.
Yeah, I
agree.
agree.
I think you could just go to live pit stops, and I think that would make it perfect.
I agree.
But again, my 2 cents on that. Real quick, while we've got a couple of minutes in this segment, Cisco's been wanting to get to this.
Yes, he has.
I want to get to it as well because I think it's important that we mention a little bit of IndyCar news here. First of all, today in Indianapolis, Scott Dixon Day. Of course, if you've been under a rock for the last week or so, Scott Dixon, the 2018 IndyCar Series champion, certainly deserves a day in his honor, I think.
Absolutely. Hey, Cisco, the mayor signed a proclamation and everything. I actually read this morning when IndyCar sent out their press release at 12:01 a.m. Why I was still up, I don't know, but I actually read the proclamation, and this is cool. Now, here's the real question. Did they have a parade?
No, not that I noticed anyway, and it kind of wasn't a great day for a parade anyway. It's been kind of overcast and a little bit rainy, so
bummer.
Not beautiful weather for Scott Dixon Day, but is what it is. And I mean, they don't necessarily need a parade, Jacob, because over at the Indiana Museum, they're going to be showing Born Racer, the Indiana State Museum, I should say.
That's
they're showing
right,
Born
the movie,
Racer, which is the movie they built
yes.
alongside Dixon.
Yes. Was that the premiere of the movie today?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Fun.
And hey, if you're Scott Dixon, you got to be asking it took 5 championships for me to get a day named after me.
Yeah, only every 5. I mean,
something like that.
You can't just go proclamating every year.
Well, that's a valid point.
And also, Scott Dixon got a movie where he didn't have to have another star drive in his car for that to be the movie.
Nice.
There you go.
That is true.
He doesn't need Sylvester Stallone this time.
Yeah, lots going on in IndyCar, and we'll get to some of that on Thursday during our Motorsports Madness show here on PMN and our Race Chaser Media Facebook Live page as well. We are going to step aside. When we come back, all right, it's time to talk some NASCAR because, well, it's Roval week, so you got to talk about it. It's perfect. The only thing that would make Roval Week better positioned is if it were the weekend of Halloween. Because it is definitely a trick. We'll be back with more of the Stock Car Show presented by HMS Motorsport and Telmed Benefits right after this.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper cars, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right, it's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit coopercorvettes.com.
How to deal with someone who says that's so gay. Outsmart them.
This party is like so gay.
Totally.
Excuse me, but did you ladies know the word gay used to mean happy or excited? Then it became a word used to describe gay people. Then somehow it came to mean dumb or stupid, which is how you just used it, which is not very nice.
Ew, that guy is on the football team and super smart, and he totally hates us now.
Totally. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off. Learn more at thinkbeforeyouspeak.com.
I'm Kaz Gralla, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Well, we're going to hear from Kaz momentarily here, but we just while we were on the air here live,
literally not 2 minutes ago,
we've got some what do you call that, Jacob?
Breaking news.
Okay, I'm going to say this, and then I'll let Jacob and Cisco expand on this. Tanner Gray has decided that for 2019, he wants to start turning again instead of just going straight. So apparently, according to Matt, is this Matt Weaver?
This is Matt Weaver, courtesy of AutoWeek.com.
AutoWeek.com. Tanner Gray is joining DGR Crosley next year to go NASCAR. Hello.
I can't. I literally can't wrap my head around this right now. I am in stunned disbelief. The kid's won 11 times in 44 NHRA Pro Stock races. That's 25%. He's leading the championship right now, and he's just going to go stock car racing at the end of the year? What? I have no words for this.
I mean, Cisco, you got a comment for this?
I'm getting shades of Sheldon Creed and Travis Pastrana and all these people who kind of ditched what they were doing to go NASCAR racing. I'm even getting a little bit of Dario Franchitti from this in a way.
Well,
from just some of these guys just coming out of left field and going, hey, why not? You know, and according to Auto Week, apparently he has raced late models before.
Yeah, he has at Hickory a couple of times.
Yeah. So, I mean, this isn't completely uncharted territory. It's not like, you know, somebody coming in with no experience. But, yeah, hi, Tanner Gray. We might see him at Cars Tour. We might see him at K&N. I have no idea.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, DGR Crosley, obviously, you got anything from K&N to ARCA to trucks. Tanner is 19. So, I mean, Tanner could race in any of the series, but obviously he's not going to want to, you know, they're not going to let him just start in Xfinity or Cup. So he's going to have to run, you would think at this point it would be maybe a combination of K&N ARCA to get him ready for a bit of a...
It's the Ankrum package, Tom.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, except that, I guess if you base it on his experience, people forget, or maybe obviously most people probably would know, we know because we're from here, that Tanner did a lot of different types of racing on the dirt with outlaw karts, a little bit of sprint car racing, I think. You know, Tanner's had that oval track background, and he's actually very good at it. But I think once he settled into the NHRA type of racing, I think we thought this was going to be a long-term thing. And here he comes right over to NASCAR. And, so DGR Crosley is going to gain Tanner Gray for next year. And Jacob, this is going to be fun to follow because...
Oh, is it ever?
Have we ever had a driver that's tried to do a little of both NHRA and NASCAR in a year?
No, it doesn't sound like he's going to be doing any NHRA next year. It sounds like he's going to be totally focused on stock car racing.
I just thought I'd throw that out there. I mean, because obviously there's, the cars are there. Wow. We'll have to see how this works out. I am completely caught off guard by that, to be honest. We'll see where this leads, but Tanner Gray, according to Matt Weaver from Auto Week, Tanner Gray coming over to NASCAR for next year with DGR Crosley.
In fairness of full disclosure, I was actually trying to coordinate to see if we could get Matt to jump on for a couple minutes and chat about it, but Matt unfortunately is currently having dinner, so he said we're going to have a rain check on that, but we'll have more details on this as it comes along in the next couple of shows.
I don't blame
certainly.
him. Food is always more important than
Yes.
guesting on this show.
No, of course.
I don't have an issue with that at all. We'll have to see if we can line up Tanner as well to come in and talk to us about this. This is a really interesting announcement, especially in light of the fact that we started off the show with Tyler Ankrum, who, of course, just won a championship with DGR Crosley.
Dear DGR Crosley, hey, here's your show.
I think they just won again. Because Tanner Gray is going to be a great addition to that program.
Yes. So with all that said, let's transition back to talking about the Roval for a minute, shall we?
Okay, yes, we shall.
All right. What we know is this weekend is going to be absolutely maniacally insane.
Kurt Busch said it would be a disaster.
Tom still believes it's going to be a disaster.
Kevin Harvick said he's scared to death of
and
of
he
this
should
race.
be.
Nobody in the playoffs other than Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch are safe. And I think Martin Truex has enough
Truex
points
is locked in on points.
So other than those three, nobody in the playoffs is safe. And, oh, by the way, again, in case you've been under a rock for a while, this is a cutoff race. 4 drivers going home. And check this out. Here we go. 7 time is below the cutoff.
He's only 6 points below the cutoff.
Still below the cutoff.
He is still below the cutoff. Yes,
Still
but
below the cutoff.
you know what the good news is, though, being only 6 points below the cut line, Tom? You can make that up in one stage.
Well, you can, but here's the I explained this morning on a different show that I do on Monday mornings. Somebody asked about what it is about the Roval that has everybody so worked up. I said, here's the deal. It's a cutoff race, and Cisco, nobody has any data. Hold on. Nobody has any data. Nobody has any racing experience there. This is a completely new thing. They've tested with a couple cars on the track at once. We have no idea, Cisco, what's going to happen when they throw the green on Sunday, because it doesn't matter what happens in practice or qualifying. There's never been 35, 40 cars on this course all at the same time, and it's a cutoff race. If you're at all worried about your playoff status, you can't take it easy, and yet you got to survive.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're talking about, the guys below the cutoff line, and who would have thought Clint Boyer at the beginning of the season was going to be in that position? But he's down there. Hamlin, obviously, and Jones. Those are your 4: Boyer, Johnson, Jones, and Hamlin. But I'm thinking if you're in that minus 70 down, so if you're Kurt Busch back, I'm still worried. Because, I mean, that cutoff line, especially right around that line, it's very close. I think, what is it? It's 1 point between Ryan Blaney and Alex Bowman, and then 5 points between Bowman and Dillon. That's from 10th on down. So, I mean, Tom, everybody could go into turn 1 and all wad up, and we could destroy 40 cars in one corner. We don't know what's going to happen.
We get Kenny Wallace back. They went into turn 1 and all the cars wrecked.
Yes.
I mean, Jacob, here's the thing about this, and this is what I explained this morning. These teams, they all pay all these engineers big money to it's all about data. It's all about information. It's all about, they got nothing. They got nothing but practice data. Practice data is going to be completely irrelevant here because there's never been this many cars on the track at once.
Now,
nobody knows what's going to happen here, and there's a chance of rain.
Yes.
And they're going to allow rain tires.
Yes, which I'm a big fan of, and you're not, and it's okay. We can be on different sides of that coin. Anyway, all right, so
might as well.
We do know that what the track is like with half the field on it. That's not a full field.
We do?
Yes. Remember, at the Roval Test Fest, the back-to-back weeks, they had half of the Cup field testing the track each time.
But not all at the same time.
Yes. Yes, they were all there at the same. It was 18 to 20.
They were
each
there.
Day.
They were not all on the track racing at the same time.
Most of them
They
were.
didn't have a double file restart.
No,
we didn't have a
exactly.
double
This
file
is what I'm
restart.
saying. Running around single file doing laps doesn't count. You know,
Watch your flying fingers.
You
there.
got
You'll hit your
they
microphone.
got nothing that they can use here really, and they had a lot of broken equipment.
They did
as a result of these tests. And look, I'm not trying to badmouth the race before it happens.
Yeah.
I'm simply looking at the fact that these crew chiefs and the drivers, they're out of their minds right now because they cannot strategize for this because it's never happened before.
Correct. They cannot strategize for this, and that's what's going to make it so great. That's also what makes 6 points that Jimmy Johnson is below the cut line nothing. That's nothing.
Yeah.
You can make that up in one stage. If one guy wrecks, all of a sudden, hey, I'm back inside the cut line.
Yeah, but the problem is...
And let me add to this, too, by the way. It does not just matter about speed. This is a road course race. It's all about strategy. Very little about road course racing is about sheer speed. It's about positioning yourself in the right place at the right time to take advantage of that speed. And looking at... This is the scariest thing for me. Looking at the 4 that are below the cut line right now, going into this elimination race, only one of them, out of those 4, only one of them is one of the 4 that I had before round 1 that would actually be eliminated at the end of round 1. Jimmy Johnson is the only driver currently below the cut line that I thought for sure would be below the cut line at the end of the Roval.
Well, and
that's what makes this first round so bloody interesting. If you ask me.
I said I wasn't confident in Denny Hamlin at all, and here he is in this situation. I really what's really so interesting for me about this is that again these guys. Practice won't mean anything. Time trials won't mean anything because, you'd say I want to start up front, but eventually you're going to catch the back of the field. It's all going to be about the race itself. And if weather comes into play, we basically just, again, this is going to be a Chinese fire drill. Now, that's how Charlotte's promoting this. And I think they've accepted the fact that they know this is going to be an action-packed race, shall we say? And there's no way to survive. You can't even run around in the back and hope to survive. The course just isn't wide enough in certain spots. So I got to tell you, these guys better do a lot of iRacing on road courses over the week and try to figure something out because there's just nothing happening that they can bring into this other than just hoping for luck.
Right. It's not breaking news, but I do also want to give a shout-out real quick before we go to break to the guy who's going to be making his final 2 NASCAR appearances during this weekend's Xfinity and Cup Series races at the Roval. Sayonara to Justin Marks and best wishes for him as he announced on Twitter earlier today that this weekend will be his last weekend running in NASCAR. He's been a regular in the IMSA Sports Car Championship this year for Meyer Shank Racing, but Justin going to have a really good shot to pick up a win. He'll be in the Chip Ganassi Racing 42 car for Saturday's Xfinity Series race, and then driving for Premium Motorsports with sponsorship from GoPro Motorplex, which he obviously helped to start on Sunday afternoon. And I'm not counting him out for a top 15 finish with as crazy as I think this race is going to be. He's a great road racer.
Listen, he could win either race. We don't know how there could be a 24-car pileup on the last lap in this deal.
Or on the first lap.
On the first lap. Look, Justin Marks is a great road racer.
Yes, he is.
And it'll be interesting to see how that goes. We're going to talk Xfinity because they're in on this too.
Yes.
They race on Saturday. We're going to talk about Xfinity.
And hear from Kaz Gralla.
Right around the corner and hear from Kaz Gralla as the Stock Car Show continues, presented by HMS Motorsport. We shall return, we promise.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves a majority of Monster Energy NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, Camping World Truck, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schuberth helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on only one thing: making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the HMS staff is always ready to take the time to help you find the right product for your safety needs. Don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Stop in to HMS Motorsport. Visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com or send them a message on Facebook and tell them the folks from PMN Radio sent you.
Hi, this is John Ondrasik of Five for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Cole Custer, and you're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
How are you? Welcome back to the Stock Car Show, presented by HMS Motorsport, the leaders in motorsports safety. And we are talking Roval, because obviously that's coming up this weekend here in Charlotte. And
Senor.
Xfinity specifically, we're going to hear from Kaz Grall in a moment. The Xfinity Series running on Saturday, and they also had some opportunities to test. They know no more or no less than the Cup guys do about race conditions.
No, the Xfinity cars have not had a chance to test
on the road. I thought they had one for them earlier.
Nope.
They didn't have. Okay.
Nope. No testing time.
So the Xfinity cars had no testing.
They get one extra open test session on Thursday morning.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, and here again, this is. I know that this is part of the draw, that it's such a great mystery, and it's just so, they've had so little time and whatever, but this is just going to be chaos. I mean, there's no two ways about this. If you like shows with a lot of crashes and a lot of slam banging and a lot of just crazy things going on, then this weekend is definitely for you. There's no way to avoid this because nobody's going to have any idea how to drive this track, especially the Xfinity Series. I'm going to be curious. You interviewed Kaz earlier, and I'm going to be interested to see what he has to say about this.
Yes.
I know he's not, at least as of this moment, necessarily committed yet. I know they're still looking for some help to help them make it to the track this weekend, sponsor-wise, but I'm curious what he had to say about that.
Let me set this up real quick before I tell Randy to hit the button, because I got a chance to talk to Kaz last Thursday during the Paint the Pit Wall Pink event for Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina, which obviously is getting set up for Breast Cancer Awareness Month and everything that goes along with that. They had a ton of breast cancer fighters and survivors at this event to help paint the pit wall. Jimmy Johnson was there as a longtime backer with Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina. D'Angelo Williams was there from the Carolina Panthers. And, just a really great event. Kaz was there taking it in for the first time, and I got a chance to talk to him. He did, as you referenced, say that they've been working on sponsorship for the Roval. Nothing is set in stone yet, but they're hopeful that perhaps they could still get something put together. Either way, Kaz said he will be there this weekend, and he kind of likes his position if he gets to sit and watch the race. Why? Well, you'll just have to listen to this here in a moment. Randy, let's hear from Kaz Gralla, shall we?
All right, Kaz Gralla. It has been it has been a ride the likes of which I don't think any of us ever expected. I know you certainly didn't expect it at the start of the year, but you've been all smiles through all of this, and I know, if nothing else, like you and I have talked about, you've learned a whole heck of a lot from this journey the last 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a really crazy year for me, up and down. Started the year out, it was going to be full-time in Xfinity, and when the team at JGL shut down, that turned into part-time, but right with Fury Race Cars, which my dad's involved with, so it was really like a family operation with a couple old-timers and a couple guys from other teams, and we just kind of joined together, and it's been really fun, and man, we've done really well. The last few races that we've done, we can't seem to catch any luck, but we've had the speed all year, so that's really cool for us and exciting, and hopefully we get to run some more this year, but right now we're just kind of focused on trying to get something together for 2019. That's what our focus is on, but so far that's proven to be quite a challenge too, so we'll see where things fall.
I know, obviously, the strong runs in and of itself are learning blocks, but in this journey that you and your dad and the whole Fury crew have been on the last couple months, what kinds of things have you learned from building an Xfinity team overnight and then really just kind of jumping in the deep end of the pool and finding some speed and success so quickly?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the first 10 races of the year with JGL, I learned a lot about driving Xfinity cars and the way you have to race them, how to manage a race of that length, and a lot of the big, more general points. But since we've become Fury, I've been able to focus a little bit more on the details and learning how to not make mistakes and how to execute on pit road, how to do a restart properly, because I'm surrounded by people that have so much experience with this. I mean, decades of it individually at all sorts of different levels of the sport. So I feel like I've learned a lot that it takes to be an Xfinity driver, and I'm ready that someday when I get the opportunity to go full-time, I'm hopeful and optimistic that I'll be able to execute.
What kind of a challenge has this year been for you, from being a full-time playoff contender, a level down in the trucks, to jumping up to Xfinity, appearing like you were going to have a shot at doing that again, and then kind of having to adjust your role? What kind of challenges has this been, either on the racetrack or off it, for you?
Well, I mean, it's been a much different year than last year. I mean, not only are the cars way different to drive and to race, but it's a different mindset when you're racing for the playoffs and racing for points, the championship, rather than just racing part-time and trying to give each run the best that you can, and you don't really have anything to lose. So it's been a different way that I've had to race, but I think that's been valuable for me to learn, honestly, because you need to know when you have to race with that mindset and when you need to race smart for points, which is a whole different mindset. So I think it's made me a more versatile driver.
Was there ever any concern knowing that you might have to step back to part-time, but knowing that at your age it's really kind of valuable to be a full-time driver?
Yeah, I mean, and to this day, it's tough. Not only is it tough coming in for a race weekend when other guys have been in the car the last 2 or 3 weeks and I haven't, that's a challenge in itself. But as you said, like, this is the age where you're trying to make your way up the ranks, trying to gain experience, trying to get noticed. So any weekend that you're not racing is stressful for me, because I feel like it's a possibly wasted opportunity. So I'm definitely really pushing and hoping to land a full-time opportunity for next year, but so far we don't have anything locked down.
I know, obviously, looking at this and looking what's going to take place here next weekend, I'm sure if you can put something together, you will gladly take the opportunity to be in the field. But whether you're in the field or whether you're watching it, speak to a little bit, because you're a road course guy, some of the challenges that this Roval presents, because it looks like, by all accounts, is going to be crazy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can tell you my blood pressure will be a lot higher if I do land a ride for next weekend. If I'm spectating, I'm going to be super excited because this should be a good race on the Xfinity side and Cup side. But, yeah, this track, it's kind of like Eldora with the trucks. You're taking something, being the car or the track, and you're making it do something that it's not supposed to do. And that is really what separates the drivers and shows who can really deal with a given challenge that you're not really ready for, because nobody is ready for this, especially Xfinity Series. We haven't even had a test here yet. The Cup guys have had a couple tests, so really none of us know what to expect, but I'm sure you'll see the smart, methodical racers rise to the top. I mean, there's no doubt Justin Allgaier is going to be up there, and Elliott Sadler will be up there. I think experience will pay dividends, but us rookies will all be duking it out, trying to come up with the best of the rest here. And as we've seen already this year at tracks that we all do know, that gets pretty wild. So I can bet that this race in a couple weeks is going to be wild.
And for sake of the radio audience that can't see that this is happening right now, I have to say, I'm mildly impressed that you've actually managed to get the scrapings of a hunting beard going here.
Oh, I always can. I try to shave it. I'm not a big fan of it, but my girlfriend likes it, so sometimes I have to compromise.
I don't even know where to go. How do you come back out of an interview with that?
You don't. And I asked him if he wanted me to take it out. He's like, no, it's funny. Leave it.
That's great. Well, and I got to tell you, one of the most entertaining of all of my Instagram followers, whatever you call it, or people I follow on Instagram, is Justin Haley, because he and Kaz, of course, are housemates or apartment mates, whatever it is, roommates, and they do a lot of stuff together, and the two of them are just hilarious. I mean,
they are. It's great.
They're perfect complements to each other when it comes to their sense of humor, and they play off each other really well. And that's exactly the kind of a thing that you would see in one of those Instagram stories. So anyways, Kaz definitely, I think, hit it on the nail when he said that the cream will rise to the top, but the problem is you got to stay there. And he's right. You're basically taking a track that wasn't meant to be a NASCAR track and making it into one. And you're taking cars that are supposed to be, they're horse-powered for tracks much wider and bigger than what we're doing with the infield part of the Roval, and you're asking them to play nicely together. And, you're making it a, second round for the Xfinity? Second race in
round one
for the Xfinity, and you're making it a cutoff race for the Cup Series. Playing nice will last about, till the green flag drops.
I wasn't even sure they were going to make it all the way to turn
I
one.
think they'll make it all the way to turn one, but then
it's a matter if they come out of turn one.
Yeah, that's where it's going to get hairy right there. We're going to be back with a lightning round and some final thoughts here on tonight's Stock Car Show, presented by HMS Motorsport, right after this.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
Here at Lewis Meineke, we're more than just your average car care center. Hey, it's Dave, your neighbor from Lewis Meineke. Whether you need an oil change, brakes, tires, or anything under the hood, we've got you covered. Take advantage of our free check engine light service as well. Yes, free. And don't forget about our free shuttle service. Never stress, we'll take care of the rest. On with life. Give us a call at Lewis Meineke, 302-827-2054.
Every 30 minutes, another innocent person is killed due to a drunk driver.
My best friend. My brother. My poor grandchild.
My sister.
My father.
My husband.
My mom. My mommy.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you.
Stop these tragedies before they happen. Don't drink and drive.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Noah Gregson, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to the Stock Car Show presented by HMS Motorsport, and also new partner on board tonight, Telmed Benefits, and we want to thank them for jumping on board and all their support as well. Tom Baker and Jacob Seelman here at the table inside the Race City USA Race Chaser Studios in Mooresville, North Carolina. We've got across behind the glass in the tech shed, Randy Miller on the Randy Cam has been making appearances tonight, and of course Cisco Scaramuza via the Race Chaser Skype line.
There they are.
And there they is, right on,
There they
on
is.
camera. If you're watching us on Race Chaser Media Facebook Live page, and if you're not, well,
You
why
should
not
be.
go and check it out? It'll be there for you after the show. If you missed any of the show, you can just go watch it. And, of course, obviously live on the Performance Motorsports Network as well. And so we go into our lightning round, and normally we discuss and debate things, and we have a lot of fun with that, and sometimes we fight and argue a little bit because, again, it's fun to do, and we disagree from time to time on things. We go into this lightning round, and we kind of bring you back a little bit to just after our Thursday night show that we do Motorsports Madness, when we got the news that by now everybody knows, and again, we're going to talk open wheel here for a bit, but racing is racing when it comes to this stuff. We're all a big family. Greg Hodnett losing his life in a crash at the BAPS Motor Speedway in Pennsylvania, formerly Susquehanna Speedway. 410 sprint car. Jacob, Greg was a Memphian, and, you know, he was one of these personalities, I don't even want to just say from a driving standpoint, but much like Brian Clausen, Greg Hodnett made friends wherever he went. And
yes,
it didn't matter what he was driving. It didn't matter where he was driving it. He was brilliant, and everybody loved him. And so Memphis claims him, Pennsylvania claims him. We all claim him, and we all mourn his loss because it's a big hole that he was one of the PA Posse's best.
This is to me as gaping a hole as both Jason Johnson when he was killed a couple months ago and Brian Clausen 2 years ago when Brian lost his life for many of the same reasons. Let me tell you a little bit about Greg Hodnett. As you mentioned, he was Memphis, Tennessee born, but he spent most of his professional career once he got to the big time in Pennsylvania. As you mentioned, he was an adopted member of the famed PA posse, and the term that I can think of that most described who Greg Hodnett was, and I think this is a big part as to why he was so beloved. Greg was really, if Jason Johnson was the outlaw's outlaw and did everything his own way, kind of against the grain, Greg Hodnett was the gentleman's gentleman. He would go out of his way to help anybody in the industry, take time out of his schedule, out of his life, out of his day, whether it was a competitor, whether it was a fan, whether it was just somebody else in the pit area wanting a couple of seconds. Greg would make sure in that moment you felt welcomed. He would make sure that whatever needs you had, it was, addressed to the best of his ability, and he would make sure that you felt like you mattered in that moment. That was something that stuck out to me all the times that I dealt with Greg with the World of Outlaws, most notably at the World Finals, was when I would see Greg once or twice a year when he would come down here. And my gosh, was he ever good at what he did. I mean, he was 49 years old, as far as I'm concerned, still relatively young when you think how long some of these guys are running their sprint car careers. In the present day, I feel like he still had so much more to give. He was a 22-time World of Outlaws winner, 20-time winner with the All-Star Circuit of Champions, and a 5-time, potentially, depending on how this weekend's National Open shakes out, potentially could still become posthumously a 6-time track champion at the Williams Grove Speedway. As we said, it kind of depends on how this weekend's races with the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series shake out for Greg. He had almost a 300-point advantage coming into this weekend's racing, and almost 75 career wins at Williams Grove, which, as many who follow Pennsylvania sprint car racing know, is regarded as one of the toughest tracks, if not the toughest track in central Pennsylvania to go in and win at. And Greg just made it look so effortless over the years. But for me, the gentleman that he was is always what's going to stick out. And really, the emotions from his last win, which appropriately was his preliminary night on Wednesday this summer at the Knoxville Nationals. It was only the second time I think he had won in a 410 at Knoxville, and it was like the first time in 15 or 20 years. It had been a long time since Greg had managed to get to victory lane at Knoxville, and you could tell just by listening to him talk, that win meant every bit as much to Greg Hodnett as the earliest wins in his career did. I mean, he spent most of his time with the Hefner Racing team, the famed 27 team. That was where he spent most of the last decade and racked up, I think, all 5 of his track championships at Williams Grove with them since 2010. So, a lot done there. I know that team is grieving. You think before that, the Apple 12 car, some of the famed teams that Greg drove for in the early stages of his career, Tom, he really did drive for some of the powerhouses in sprint car racing. And I feel like that's what makes his impact so wide-reaching, and really what makes him, will make him so sorely missed.
Yeah, and I think we've had a little bit of time to kind of digest all of this, and we want to get into this discussion gently and with regard to Greg. It appeared that the steering broke. I think is that still what something happened to the car?
By appearance, it was a we know it was a mechanical failure. By all appearances, from what everybody has said and what video was there from Watch the Cushion, it appeared there was a steering failure with 2 laps to go in the 30-lap main event that sent him into the wall at the pit opening in turn 1 before the car flipped. And
now, this is the discussion that while we've got a few minutes here, and it probably is going to take longer than the time we have to do this right, but we're going to get into it anyway.
Yeah.
I think that it's time, and I want to be careful here that I'm not blaming Baps Motor Speedway for what happened to Greg. However, in 2018, I just think we're at a point, we've arrived at a point, there's more than enough safer barrier technology out there. Everybody knows that these pit openings, unprotected cement or steel or, concrete walls, I don't see as much split guardrail barrier at tracks as I used to, thank God. I think tracks need to start making themselves both knowledgeable and accountable for safety and taking whatever measures they need to take in order to, that pit wall opening should not, in my opinion, exist. And again, I want to be careful here to say I'm not, we don't know exactly what happened there,
right.
but that shouldn't exist.
Right. Well,
in my opinion.
I want to
ahead.
add to that, though. There were several drivers in the couple of days since Greg's passing that have said that exact thing, that have raised the question, why wasn't there a gate there, something that would round that opening off to where it's not a blunt stop like it was.
That's
and
the
I,
thing.
I would raise that question myself.
I see a lot of, and the other thing I see with these tracks that's unrelated to this particular incident is, these big giant tires that they put in the infield that wrap around the light pole or whatever. These tires don't absorb enough of the impact. They don't give enough. Those are rock hard when you hit them. And so all of that shock, all of that energy transfers back to the car and the driver.
Or if anything, sends it flying.
Or sends it flying, depending on how you hit it. We need to start looking at putting barriers in key places on these short tracks and getting rid of these concrete walls, especially going into corners, coming out of corners, places where it's particularly vulnerable. Every track knows where their rough spots are. Again, plenty of different types of barrier systems out there. If you're going to own a track, promote a track, I'm sorry, you got to make that track safe. If you're going to run sprint cars at your track or any type of open wheel car, you've got to have very high catch fencing that's strong enough to be able to keep those cars inside of your racing surface.
Volusia Speedway Park learned that the hard way a couple years ago. They've spent almost $1 million on safety upgrades in light of that.
And that's, these are things, and I know we have a lot of tracks around the country where we have promoters that aren't full-time promoters, and they have bunches of money. But somehow, guys, we've got to arrive at a point where that pit opening doesn't exist. Those infield tire barriers, they don't exist. Especially at tracks where we run these open wheel cars or smaller cars like the midgets or whatever.
On a regular basis.
On a regular basis, you have to make these tracks safer. And the drivers have got to make themselves safer. Again, I'm kind of broadening out from the Greg Hodnett incident here. But drivers need to make themselves safer and be responsible on their own. Shouldn't have to tell a driver in 2018, I don't care what you're racing, you need a forward head restraint. You need a driver's suit that is new enough to not have oil stains all over it. You need a properly fitted helmet. You need, all of those things. You need a full containment seat. You need to keep your belts up. In other words, every 2 or 3 years, you got to replace your belts. If you get into a serious crash or the belt is at all compromised, you got to replace it immediately. These are things we want to make racing safer here. The only way to do that is if we all accept responsibility for our portion of it. I think it's our job as media to get the word out and to discuss and debate this and make people aware of options. We've had R.J. Valentine from Impact Safety Systems on the show a time or two. We're going to have him back here soon again to talk about his barriers. You know, that we're working with HMS Motorsport on the project to bring more safety education. Jacob, this just has to happen here, and I pray that if nothing else, this discussion at least starts people to think, and I wish we had more time, but unfortunately we got to throw the checkered flag.
We do, and as you mentioned, it was never going to be enough time to get into all of this tonight, but as it is, we do want to close this show on a couple of thoughts. First, to Greg's wife, Sherry, to the Hefner Racing team, and to the Central Pennsylvania Racing family. We are thinking about all of you, and the end of this show dedicated in Greg Hodnett's memory. We want to thank Bob Steele, Sue Mason, all the folks at PMN, as well as Joe Marco, all the staff at HMS Motorsport, and the folks from Telmed Benefits for what they do to help this program. So right now, for Randy Miller behind the glass, as well as Cisco Scaramuza and Tom Baker, I'm Jacob Seelman reminding you to keep it off the wall, folks. And if you're headed to a racetrack somewhere, we might just see you there. Have a safe racing weekend. Good night.
You've been listening to the Stock Car Show on the Performance Motorsports Network. Stay tuned to Performance Motorsports Network for more race talk. For the latest motorsports news, visit racechaseronline.com. The Stock Car Show is a copyrighted production of the Performance Motorsports Network. www.performancemotorsportsnetwork.com. A member of the Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of PMN. Check out our Facebook page or our section on the PMN website. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host, co-host, and guests, and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either the Performance Motorsports Network or Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, the advertisers, or the marketing partners. Be listening again next week when the Stock Car Show returns on Thursday night at 7 Eastern. Until then, stay tuned for more great motorsports programming on the Performance Motorsports Network.